but we laugh and react in the stat. Gang grams, middle fingers to them haters if they hate. And again, like we don't give a fuck, let the hate and begin. Cause we can turn this bitch up into Pakistan, but we laugh and react in the
This ain't nothing but the truth. I know we get on here every day and have this African diaspora war with each other, but this what I need for us to realize. You are so right. Southern and Caribbean grandmothers, Southern and Caribbean elders are the same people. Their cooking style, the way they handle stuff. Nobody loves the Lord more than a Southern or a Caribbean grandma. Them women act like Jesus, they boyfriend. And they'll bring people to the Lord. And they are offended when they find out that you don't love the Lord the same way they do. We have practices that are the same. Recipes that are the same. In the South, we call it roots. That gal over there working roots. Y'all call it something else. In the Caribbean, it goes by many different names. We are the same people. I wish that we focused on all of the similarities that we have more so than the small differences. But a Caribbean grandma and a Southern grandma are the same old black lady that's standing out there with a slip on under her dress in the hottest of weather, raising hell about why you don't go to service like you should.
I'm going to share an experience that will forever put African Americans in a good light in my book. An experience that, regardless of whatever anybody says about them, regardless of whatever experience I have with a African American, that one experience has been superior, and that one experience will, like I said, will always put them in a good light in my book. So, story time. It's my first day in middle school. My mom had just dropped me and my sister off at school. They just registered us that same exact day. After registering us, she just dropped us off, and the principal is like, yo, your class is down the hallway. You know, this is your room number, blah, blah, blah. My mom drops, like I said, she just registers us and she's off on her way to go to work. There is no lunch money or nothing. So nobody was even thinking about lunch. So we get to class and the teacher is like, yo, it's lunchtime. So everybody lines up, everybody, y'all know how it is. Everybody walks down to lunch, walks down to the cafeteria or whatever. So as we get to the cafeteria, everybody's lining up, everybody's grabbing their tray, they're grabbing their lunch. So I'm watching because I'm like, like I said, this is my first experience. I don't know how things go. And I'm seeing everybody walk down and as soon as they get their lunch, they walk up and they're paying for lunch. I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know how it worked. So one thing about me is I don't like shame. So I'm thinking to myself like, yo, you're about to walk down this line with this tray of food. You have no money on you. What if this person tells you to put the tray down in front of everybody? Like, that's shameful. So I'm like, you know what? Rather than going through that shame, I'm just going to go hungry. So I put the tray down and I walk out the cafeteria. As I'm walking down the hallway, this young man walks down the hallway. His name is Jamal. Jamal, if you're watching this video, I never forgot that day, bro. So Jamal comes down the hallway and he sees me. I guess he remembers me from, like I said, coming to class the first day, the new kid or whatever. And he sees me walking down the hallway and he's like, yo, where are you going? So I try to explain to him like, yo, I have no money on me. I see everybody's paying. I'm just going to have to just go sit in class and, whatever, and just be hungry. And he's like, yo, nah, man. And he sticks his hand in his pocket. I remember vividly. For some reason, that image of that day stuck in my brain. I can remember exactly the color of pants that kid had on. His pants was like hanging super low. Y'all know how people dress back in the day. And he stuck his hand in his pocket and put out $1.25 or whatever. And he's like, yo, take this and go eat with that. Cut the whole story short. Yeah, I went in there, I paid for lunch, and I ate that day. It's impactful, and that moment stuck forever in my mind because that kid switched to his default mode. That kid did not know me from Adam. He can clearly tell that I was not African American, but all that shit did not matter to him at that moment. He switched to his default mode. And this is why I said that moment will forever paint African Americans in a good light in my book.
As Black Americans, we need to normalize when people ask us where we're from, we simply say we're from America because that is true. But you know what? Some people are intellectually curious, and so they might say, oh, via where? And, they might be trying to build a bond with you. And you can simply say, I'm multi-generational American. My ancestors came to America via the transatlantic slave trade hundreds of years ago. And I use that all the time, and people literally grasp it immediately. Even if they don't, they know enough not to keep prying and ask. It usually closes the door. Also, I think because this is the global history of so many countries around the world, like Jamaica and Haiti and Barbados and St. Vincent, St. Lucia, I can go on. But for some reason, sometimes when Black Americans, because America has such an immigrant history, there's a perception that you are first and second generation immigrant, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And sometimes people are just simply asking because you remind them of their countrymen, which I think is like a really good compliment. But also, as a Black American, you don't owe anyone a history lesson. Sometimes there is an educational deficit in their home country, or there is somehow an educational deficit, you know, culturally, and they just don't have that history and they don't have that context. Yes, they understand Americanness and they understand Western culture, and they see Black Americans on TV and all these things, but a lot of times they don't have the historical context. And if you feel like it, go off and give them the history lesson. But what I will never do, it's no shade to y'all, what I will never do is look somebody dead in the eye and tell them I don't know where I'm from. Because I know exactly where I'm from. And I'm super proud. It's a super rich history with a super rich like cultural context and diaspora community.
We come over here, y'all assume we have the money because we come from the States, which to a certain degree, because the city is less, sure. But you have to think too, like, let's say me, myself, I have busted my tail to save money to even be able to come over here. So when you raise the price on me and I'm not some millionaire, you know what I mean? It's very disheartening because I save money to come here. I don't have a lot of money, you know what I mean? So in the States, I think there's a misconception that Black people have the money. As a majority, I mean, there are like, you know, individuals, but as a majority, we have the least money in the States.
Africans come here looking to us to be skin folk. They already got a deal, you know, with the discrimination of being an immigrant, and then they look to Black people for comfort, Black Americans for comfort, and they don't get none. That is what you need to be focused on before you as a Black person try to open your mouth against other groups of people of color. It's already disheartening to receive discrimination from everybody else who is not Black. But when you look to your own people who are so far removed from their culture and you look to them for comfort and they treat you like dirt too, it's a different type of disheartening. You know, Africans don't have to come here and help us advance our medicine, advance our skills. Goes back to the Gorilla Glue lady. Okay, an African doctor was the one who saved her hair. He used simple olive oil and some other natural ingredients to remove that glue from her hair. So the least that we can do when Africans come here is be way more kind and inviting to them instead of being so discriminatory.
Africans versus African Americans. These diaspora wars have to fucking stop. Us African immigrants are moving a lot like colonizers and gentrifiers. We move into these low-income Black neighborhoods, disrespect the residents, and pick and choose which parts of African American culture that we enjoy and viciously condemn the parts of African American culture that we do not. That sounds a little familiar, don't it? Unfortunately, most African immigrants internalize that the quickest way to assimilate into American culture is through anti-Blackness. Because as we all know far too well, anti-Blackness as American is genocide. I mean apple pie. I'm sorry to inform y'all, but this strategy is not gonna work. Because in the eyes of Mayonnaise America, you are still a nigger. Only difference, you got an accent they can make fun of. If a cop pulls up on you, at no point are they going to ask you, hey, jambalaya jello, cassava for collard greens, nigga. Identify yourself. And we try to pass that mentality down to our American-born children. Thankfully, though, it's not effective because we're no longer talking about mystery African American. You're now talking about our friends, classmates, coworkers, teammates, girlfriends, boyfriends, etc. So the idea is that this mentality dies the further down the bloodline we go. Or at least I thought it was until I logged into the Clock app and see that we're still arguing about the same damn things. For my fellow Africans who are just acting like their home country is God's favorite oasis, can I ask you a quick question? Why did you or your parents leave? To get a better life, right? Well, what do you think African Americans want? Only difference is, 9 times out of 10, they don't have the option to go somewhere else like we do. So not only do they have to deal with the same narratives that unseasoned America gives them from people who not only look like them, but are from this motherland that was stripped from them, we have the nerve to do it right next door to them. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I'd bang with us too much either. So in the future, my people, why not be a little more compassionate? Matter of fact, let's take it a step further. Be embracing. We have a connection to a motherland that they don't have, and it's a beautiful one. Why wouldn't you want to share that? Historically speaking, we have done a terrible job of doing that. And I feel that if we do a better job of that, eventually these tensions are going to die down a little bit. I'll leave you with an African proverb that I think is relevant. The child that is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth.
So, where are you from?
Houston, Texas.
And you?
Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay.
Orlando, Florida.
Okay, so is it safe to say you're all African Americans?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, what are your thoughts on Africa?
I've never been to Africa, but I think it's a beautiful place, and I would really love to visit sometime.
Okay. And you?
I'm a history major, so I learned a lot about African history,
Okay.
and I think that there's a lot of culture, and it traces back to our roots. So, I mean, I haven't been either, but I've learned a lot about it.
Awesome.
Yeah, my best friend is Ethiopian, so I grew up really immersed in the culture. Like, I celebrate their holidays, I wear their dresses, so I've really grown up and been immersed in the Ethiopian culture.
Awesome, awesome. The reason why I'm doing this interview is I want to bring awareness that the strength of Black people is actually in Africa uniting. Because when Africa unites and becomes a superpower, who can mess with people of African descent? You know what I mean? And right now there's a scramble for Africa. Everybody else is benefiting from Africa except people that belong to the soil. And I'm just preaching this and using the movement. I'm using fashion to spread the word. So I hope you wear it on campus and send me some pictures. Thank you so much. Africa must unite. Black units. Because when Africa unites, everybody is finished. Okay? All right. Thank you so much. Let me grab the hats. So there you go. You get a hat.
People always ask me what I miss the most about Africa. And as an African girl who moved to Europe in 2014, which is about 11 years ago, roughly, I think what I miss the most is my innocence. And by that I mean, prior to me moving to Europe, I had no idea that the color of my skin actually mattered to certain people. And I genuinely mean this. I moved to the Netherlands when I was 18 years old. Of course I knew about other races. I knew that the world comprised of people that looked differently than I did. But I never knew about racism. I never knew that this would change the way I see the world forever. I picked it up on little things that people would say, how people would behave. And I just realized, holy shit, this matters to certain people. And that's when I started learning the concept of racism. And honestly, if I could go back and clean my mind, I would. I just wish I never knew that. I wanted to go back to that innocence where I just felt like everybody just loved everybody and nobody ever cared about the color of another person's skin. Because the minute I knew, I kind of put my guard up. So I would also go into spaces expecting that certain people would be uncomfortable, and I would also be defensive and just ready to be moody. And I hate that. I really had this pure innocence of, oh, people are just people and we're all just great. And honestly, every single day of my life, wherever I go, I'm thinking in my mind, what are they thinking? This, and that. I wish I could unlearn this. I wish I could just walk around and just be a person and not worry. But unfortunately, being where I am right now, and I travel a lot, but it's just impossible because people will do things, they will say things, there are little microaggressions and things like that that just make it impossible for you to just exist. You have to always be on edge, always wondering, always trying to make people feel comfortable with themselves, and it's not fair. I just wish I could go back in time where I never felt like that, and I think it's really important to be where you are like a majority, because when I was in Gambia, I just saw everybody as the same. I never thought anything about color, obviously because there's not really that many other people that are not black. But at the same time, I will say something about my continent. We are very warm, we're welcoming. I would say that most people who travel to Africa, Europeans know this. They never feel less than. And that's the saddest part about here, because most times you do end up feeling less than in Europe or in Western countries. So yeah. That's what I miss the most about home. The warmth, the people, the just being, who you are without wondering if you're making anyone feel uncomfortable. Obviously, there's other things like colorism, and we also have our problems. But one thing I will say for sure, especially where I'm from, the Gambia, West Africa, color does not exist. Okay?
We got to be very careful down there because it was what America taught. When you get to America, you have to understand America is a system. The first day you enter in America, it's literally having someone on your shoulder saying this, hey, you see this black American kid? He looks like you. He talks like you. He even has the same hair as you, but Charlie, he no be you. You see, look at him. He's shooting guns. He's wearing his pants this way. Oh, look at his hair. You're from Ghana, royal family, Ashanti culture. This is not you. And so the moment, as soon as you're at that airport, you disconnect. Oh, that's not me. So whatever you see him, he's suffering with, you taught from day one, oh, that's not you. Don't let the color, fool you. That's not you. Now, what you don't know is this. That same man that met you there has gone to that same black guy in America. Hey, Charlie, you see this African guy? He's not the same color hair as you. He has the same texture. But he's not you. Look at him. He's swinging on trees. Look at his stomach. He can't feed his people. Every negative thing about Africa, they will tell him. So he says, I'm not that neither. So the moment you land in America, you're like this. Separated. You are separated.
We can turn this bitch up into Pakistan, but we laugh and react in the stat. Gang grams, middle fingers to them haters if they hate. And again, like we don't give a fuck. Let the hate and begin. Cause we can turn this bitch up into Pakistan, but we laugh and react in the stat. Gang grams, middle fingers to them haters if they hate. And again, like we don't